So today again he had a Nadi Pariksha, and during this period of 6 months, there is a drastic change in the condition, because I've been suffering from this disorder, autoimmune disorder called pemphigus vulgaris. Over the past 6 months, I can say that, maybe around 60 or 70% of this disorder is gone. And it's just like that matter of time that I get back to 100% normal. And, I'm talking this, because this is a first-hand experience I've had.
I visited Sanjay in the month of April. He had called me to help with his condition, and subsequently I came here to Jammu to do his Nadi Pariksha, and he had a symptom called pemphigus vulgaris. And after that we took a review after 2 days where Sanjay had some psychological benefits which he had stated. And now after 6 months, nearly 6 months, in the month of October I have come again to do another review of his, and I'd like Sanjay to let us know what is the improvement that he has been feeling. I'll also let you know what improvements have come about through the diagnosis. Sanjay, on to you.
Yeah. So it's been now 6 months since I've been on remission. So in the month of April, Mahesh had come over and he had done this Nadi Pariksha on me, and based on the findings he had suggested me some medicines and also some other activities, and then apart from that, he had changed my diet plan also. So I followed that whole thing for 6 months. And after 6 months today, on 1st of October, Mahesh is here for a review. So today again he had a Nadi Pariksha, and during this period of 6 months, there is a drastic change in the condition, because I've been suffering from this disorder, autoimmune disorder called pemphigus vulgaris. Over the past 6 months, I can say that, maybe around 60 or 70% of this disorder is gone. And it's just like that matter of time that I get back to 100% normal. So, I feel much better than before. The first time Mahesh came, that was the time, I was full of anxiety, stress, always there was a feeling of illness in me. And after that, Mahesh, he just redefined my proceedings for each day, just told me what I had to do early in the mornings, afternoons, things like small yoga, meditations, journal writing, and then there were some other things, plus the medicines which I had to take. It was not easy job, because these medications also, it requires a technique. You cannot just gulp the medicines and say that okay, I am done with it. So there is a procedure, there is a process for all these things, and we followed that process and the proceedings, and most importantly was the diet which we followed, what Mahesh had told us. The doctors at PGI Chandigarh had put me on to steroids. And that was the time I was taking 10 mg steroids per day, and today is the time when these steroids from 10 mg it has come down to 2.5 mg per day, and 2.5 mg of steroids, everybody tells me that it's insignificant for the body. So probably after 7 or 8 days when I go back for a review, they will put me off these steroids, and hopefully with the new procedure, new things what Mahesh suggested based on the Nadi Pariksha he had done yesterday. So I'm 100% sure that within a short period of time I would be fully cured. And I'm talking this because this is a first-hand experience I've had, and I'm so grateful that Mahesh came back. It is not an easy job, to just make a decision to come from Bangalore to Jammu. especially during this time, when there is, a shout for Article 370, there is a total clampdown in Srinagar, in Kashmir. But still he came for a review, and I am very happy with the findings and the results. I will give it back to Mahesh, because he would be able to tell you more that what he had found out during my first Nadi Pariksha and during the second Nadi Pariksha which he's done yesterday. Over to Mahesh.
Thanks, Sanjay. So the most important thing that I found was, first when I came here, I found there's so much of Pitta dosha in the body. Pitta dosha primarily means that the body is hyperactive, the body is producing more enzymes, and there's more reactions in the body going on. And I attribute, from my experience of doing Nadi Pariksha, that all physical ailments have got a psychological stand to it. So typically all of us whoever is living in a city and who are involved in businesses, we all have certain limitations, or what we call as occupational hazards. So it means that balancing family and work and travel, and Sanjay being very close to Punjab, especially the diet is something that is very rich. I would say it is more than what is necessary. So anybody who comes to Punjab and this place would really know that how you are smothered with goodies in dry fruits and various kinds of dishes, and I mean they just they just kill you with their love. So so typically that was Sanjay's diet when he started. So he didn't have specifically any dietary recommendations from the doctors, they just had put him on steroids. So when I found so much of Pitta dosha and Kapha dosha which were just blocking all the channels, and that's how the autoimmune disorder had set in, the first thing that I had to do was to open up these blockages. So I put him on medications that would flush out all the toxins, and then I also put him on very strict dietary regimentation which would help his body recuperate on its own. The best part of this whole thing is not about what medication went in or what dietary recommendations were given. The maximum strength of this, or rather the outcome of this whole procedure, was the dedication with which Sanjay had followed. It's not easy for a person living in Jammu to follow. I'll tell you why. It's because of the kind of diet they follow. For example, Sanjay, he treated me to Khilari, which is primarily a paneer which is extracted from goat's milk. I mean, that is so rich, and if I have, and I had too, and I didn't feel hungry for lunch, and the family were constantly asking me, I mean, why is it that you're not having lunch at home? So that's the richness of the food. So for a person who has been traditionally raised here, eating this kind of food, to give up this and to live a kind of and to eat a kind of diet that is almost saintly, it was not an easy job. And more than that, the family supported him thoroughly in all of this. His wife Anjali ji was a major support in terms of making sure the diet is appropriate, and they have Ramesh, who's their help in the kitchen, who absolutely made sure that everything was followed to the T. So this is very important. So the dedication is very important. It's not enough if you just believe that by taking the medications you will be all right. It's not enough that if you believe that by following the diet I'll be all right. But most important with Sanjay is that within the first 2 days of doing Nadi Pariksha, the amount of belief that he had and the shift in accepting this particular therapy was so humongous. I mean, that is what I would give the credit to. Now, having followed it to the T, and Sanjay kept in constant touch with me, and any kind of deviation he would ask, is this okay for me to do, is this okay for me to do? And he also travelled abroad on a holiday, which I think happened after a long gap, where he was really perturbed, he was apprehensive about so many things, and he was not feeling very comfortable to travel. But finally, with all of these medicines and the therapies, Sanjay had the confidence to travel abroad. He had a wonderful holiday, Sanjay?
Yes, yes.
And after that, when I came for the second review now, the good news is that Sanjay's organs are much better. His liver is recuperating. Yes, it needs some more care. So I've changed the medications, put him on lighter medications, but which will continue to work on his liver and his system, and to make sure that his immune system again further gears up to support him. Again, dietary recommendations will continue for the next 2 to 3 months, after which we'll have a third